The Fabian socialists were connected to both occultic organisations and Rothschild interests. The Fabians were originally Christian socialists and composed of men who were apostates from the Anglican Church. At that time, the Freemasons called these Christian socialists the New Evangelicals. Their emphasis was not on preaching the gospel, but on building the kingdom of God on earth, which is what the New Evangelicals and members of what is termed the emergent church believe. In many respects, the current emergent church is a rebirth of the Christian socialists, and what the Freemason labelled the New Evangelicals. According to an article entitled Spirits in Time magazine, June 4th, 1923, an editor from Scientific American, J. Malcolm Bird, went to London, where he met with Sir Conan Doyle, author of the Sherlock Holmes series, to investigate the claims of William Hope, photographic medium, who in sittings at the British College of Psychic Science produced photographs of spirits. According to the Time article, for 40 years a number of Europe and America's elite were involved in supernaturalism. The movement took off from the British Society of Psychical Research, organised in 1882. Here are some of the prominent men involved: Lord Balfour, Sir Oliver Lodge, Sir Alfred Russel Wallace, Lord Rayleigh, Professor Gilbert Murray, F.W.H. Myers, Sir William Crookes, Professor Henry Sedgwick, Richard Hodgson, Thomas Edison, blah blah blah. I'll not bother reading the rest. And many distinguished scientists from prestigious universities. Frederick Myers was involved in the Society for Physical Research, and along with others helped to found the Stanford University in 1912. Carl House was advising President Woodrow Wilson. They dreamed of a world government, the kind of government envisioned by the occultists and the Fabian socialists who grew out of the occultic movement. The League of Nations, which was a forerunner of the United Nations, was birthed out of these ideas. The League of Nations was formed by Arthur Balfour, presiding as England's Foreign Secretary. Despite the globalist and occultic ideas of these men, God, who is sovereign and in control of all things, used these men to fulfill Bible prophecy. In 1919, President Wilson met in France with the Rothschilds. Presiding over the Versailles Peace Conference, some of the attendees included Adolf Milner, Karl House, Jeroboam, and Edmund D. Rothschild, who used their wealth and influence to begin the Jewish resettlement of Israel, which was then called Palestine. Lord Arthur Balfour created the Balfour Declaration in 1917, which was instrumental in the reformation of Israel in 1948. The Society of Physical Research had an influence on Stanford University through founders and professors who were members and sympathizers in the occult group. One of the major goals of Stanford Research Institute, SRI, is the application of science and technology for knowledge, commerce, prosperity and peace. This is a merger of an occult connection to the dream of world government and the development of surveillance, mind control and banking technologies that will lead us to a cashless society. The end game of these technologies is a microchip implant. The Universal Product Code. The Universal Product Code, UPC, is the computerized barcode on products you buy or sell. When you go to a store, the UPC code scans the product name, number and price is displayed. In 1950, the Bank of America went to the Stanford Research Institute and hired SRI to develop a faster and more efficient banking system. The development was a magnetic link and barcode. This development helped lead to the UPC code and the magnetic stripe on the bank of every credit card. From these developments, things like the ATM machine and credit card system were launched. SRI began a global revolution in computers and banking. Other technologies were developed, which led to the creation of the Internet. Electronic banking and coming cashless society, SRI is one of the most powerful think tanks for the Department of Defense. SRI develops technology and systems for the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, which spies on American computers, cell phones, faxes and emails in order to catch terrorists. According to a July 2001 report, DARPA's HPCS program, History Models, Tools, Languages report, DARPA is involved in creating DARPA high productivity computing systems for scientific, business and national security purposes. DARPA's original mission was to prevent technological surprises such as the launch of Sputnik, which in 1957 signalled that the Soviets had beaten the US into space. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, US governments and industry leaders realised that the US had to keep up with global trends in computer technology. DARPA interacts with government agencies like the NSA, NRC, NASA and private computer companies. The Information Awareness Office comes under the umbrella of DARPA. The IAO uses surveillance technology that could come right out of the movie The Matrix. However, the most strange thing of all is the logo from IAO, which is the symbol of the all-seeing eye of Lucifer on top of a pyramid. The occult symbol on our dollar bills, obviously I'm British, so it's not really our is it? With a beam of light coming out of the eye scanning Earth. This is a symbol for the Information Awareness Office. Interesting, isn't it? Very interesting. Right. I think that's about it. But I will read a few more pages of this brilliant book sometime in the future. You can buy this book now. Look, I'm advertising this, but it's not really for my benefit. Right? I don't know this guy who's wrote it, but I would recommend Paul Maguire's The Day the Dollar Died. Right? It's an interesting book. It's got a lot of facts in here, obviously to do with the Bible and that. It's all good stuff. So you can tap it in Amazon or go to sidroth.com. Is it .com? I can't remember. Something like that. Sid Roth's website, and order it yourself for Christmas. Get yourself motivated with Revelation, because all this is in the book, the last book of the Bible, Revelation. Mark of the Beast, the Antichrist, and that. It's good stuff.